Hi guys, welcome to Real Talk, the study podcast. So in this episode, I'm going to be discussing this trend that I feel like will always be a trend till the end of time, but it's a trend right now on TikTok where guys and girls are giving each other advice about how to make a man attracted to you, how to make a man obsessed with you. So, several different things. First thing is, I feel like there should be videos out there talking about how to make them not obsessed with you, not attracted to you. Because ultimately, I feel like when you're in that mindset that you want them attracted to you, you want them obsessed with you, you want them hitting you up, you want to get back together, whatever it is, it's like really low key. What you're not in touch with, or what you're kind of sort of in touch with, is no, you fucking don't, and you know it. You don't want somebody who doesn't want you. It's just like guys, they want what they can't have, that type of thing. It's the same thing as women. It's just a humanistic thing, if that's a word. It's, I guess, reverse psychology. You really don't want the people who don't want you. You just don't. It's just, it feels like when you're dumped, it's rejection in some type of way. So the reason, when you're in that mindset where you want to get them, like, back into your life and blah, 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 you're not ready to hear healthy advice, right? So I feel like when you look into, spirituality, or not even just spirituality, but just like grounded, well-rounded advice, that shit is not going to hit you right. It's just like you're not going to want to do it, and you're not going to do it ultimately because you're not there. So I feel like what I have always done when I feel like I have no self-control, because if you think about it, if you're looking up videos like that, whether you guys want to admit it or not, that's where you're currently at, and that's okay. You should accept yourself for who you are at that time period, because we all go through it, whether we accept it, whether we acknowledge it, whether we own it or not. We all just want to be loved at the end of the day, okay? So when we feel like we're not loved, we want to get loved. We want them to acknowledge us, blah, 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 blah. So since you guys aren't at that stage, or that phase where you can just disconnect from that person's energy and whatever it was you guys had, what I would suggest is trying to make them unattracted to you, because deep down you know you don't have enough willpower to walk away. So I've always done this on some type of subconscious level. I don't know, like, this is going to sound, I think, batshit crazy, and I think some people are going to get it, but most people won't. But this is how I've always operated. When I knew I was in one of those on-again, off-again relationships, and I loved them so much, but I fucking knew deep down they did not love me, or they were a user, or it was just going to go nowhere. They were going to waste my fucking time. But, when you know low-key you're turning into that girl that's just like, you're going to wait until you can't wait any longer, I think that's a majority of us. And I know there's those girls, and I'm sorry to offend you, but at the same time I also don't really give a fuck, because these type of girls have always hurt me. The girl that will always be in the background, one of the exes that will always be in the fucking background no matter what. Till the end of time, they will have that guy's back no matter what. So what I mean by this is like, when you're in a relationship with this guy, the on-again, off-again, you know that this guy, the guy that you're in love with, will always go back to this chick, because that guy knows that he can always go back to her, and that girl has made it fucking desperately clear to that guy, yes, you can always come back to me, because deep down you know we belong to you. And it's like, it may not more than likely it is not that fucking connection where they deep down belong together. It's just more of that type of connection where she's willing to accept the abuse and bullshit that you are speaking up about. We all know that fucking girl, right? I feel like when we are staying with the guy that we know we shouldn't stay with, we're kind of low key that girl. I hate to say it, but on some type of level, we are that girl. So I feel like to break free from that energy, you got to do some shit that you know there's no coming back from. I hate to say it, but it's like, and in the process of doing it, you actually gain freedom and you learn more about who you are, like who you really are. Follow me here. Just follow me here. So for example, you learn about your strengths, okay? So when I was like so fucking immature, and I'm not proud of this, but like I would post things when me and my exes would break up intentionally because I knew they would be lurking, and a majority of the guys that I attract are egotistical. I don't believe all guys are egotistical. Yes, I think most of them are, but I don't think all of them are. I just need to throw that out there. So, but I draw in really like heavy like Leo energy for guys that I end up dating and I'm in a relationship with. So their pride means so much to them. Their reputation means so much to them. And if you're willing to destroy that, then there's no fucking chance that they're going to get back with you. And I've always known this. I've always known that. I don't know if it's because I'm psychic or what, but I've always done shit like that. Yeah, because I was angry. Yeah, to get back at them because I was upset, to humiliate them. But also because I knew that if I did that, there would be no coming back from it. You follow? So, you know, they make these videos about, like, oh, how to get him obsessed with you, blah, blah, blah. Don't talk about him. Do not, like, you know, like, basically, it's like he never existed type of thing. Like, that's how it's got to be. And this is true. This is so fucking true. In order to get to a guy, and honestly, this is not the type of guy you want. This is like a guy in his villain era, so to speak, or just like an unevolved era, whatever you want to call it. I don't really care. But it's just one of those phases. Sorry, I hope you guys can hear me. It's raining. He's in one of those phases where he just can't commit. He just can't. Because in order for it to have gotten to that point in your guys' relationship where it's just on again, off again, on again, off again, he's not doing his share of the work, right? And this is assuming you guys are doing your share. You know you're putting in. You know you're putting in your 50%. But you know this guy isn't. You don't want that fucking guy. He may be great in the future, whatever, and honestly, not everybody, even though guys are late bloomers, not everybody becomes involved. I mean, just think of that one older guy you know that is definitely still, like, a piece of shit. You know what I mean? Like, so I also want to throw that out there. I'm just saying that if you really feel like you have no self-control, and you just feel so obsessed with your ex, and you really want them back in your life, but low-key, you actually really don't, but you don't know how to get in touch with that aspect or how to bring that into fruition, whatever you want to call it, I'm telling you guys, do the things that will make them unattracted to you. And by doing that, you may discover something else about yourself. The fact that you were able to cut ties by doing the exact thing that you knew would keep them away, you know, that can make you a stronger person. Yeah, it wasn't done in the most healthiest fashion, but still, like, you did something that you really thought you'd never be able to break free from. You also get to realize that maybe those things that you know they're unattracted to, maybe you um, unconsciously stayed away from those things because you knew you wouldn't be attracted. You wouldn't be attractive to the very same guys that you are attracted to. So therefore, maybe it's all physical chemistry as well. That's something to keep in mind, and you guys may not be aware of that, because sometimes it's really easy to confuse the two. Thinking there's this deeper connection, and this could be the father of your children, and the man of your life, and it's like this guy can't even be his own man in his own life. Like, are you guys kidding me right now? And this is me too, like talking from experience. Like, I'm telling you, I never realized that the things that I stayed away from were intentional, because I knew I wouldn't be liked for those things. I knew speaking up about things I knew, being smart, being into, I don't know, certain hobbies, whatever it was, I knew this would all be a turn-off to the guys that I was always attracted to in my life. So when I started intentionally doing things, I guess I'm trying to think how I want to phrase this, to try to keep these guys away from me, because during my healing process, which is, obviously always an ongoing thing for everyone out there ever wondering when does it end, it's just always like a different shift in energy. Sometimes it's harder than other phases or stages, whatever. But yeah, I never realized that these things that I stayed away from, I'm actually really into. I'm not so much into the same things that these guys have been into, and I didn't realize that, obviously energy doesn't lie, right? You just got to pay attention. And I feel like deep down that's really why it's never worked out. So, I think that's something to consider. Also, something to consider. Oh, and the main reason for this is because when you do these things, it keeps them away from you. But honestly, at the same time, no matter what, it attracts them to you. And you know why? Because when you start realizing that these things that they're unattracted to, but you're attracted to them, and somehow it becomes authentically you, this is what I mean. Like, there's kind of like two things to this. Through the dysfunction, there's actually function, believe it or not. People love authenticity. People love realness. People are curious by it. So when you step into that energy, and you guys may be thinking, I am this, I am that, because I myself thought this my whole life, and I definitely have been. But there was like another part of me, a bigger part of me, that I always ignored, that I didn't realize I ignored. If somebody were to start asking me questions, like, well, what did you think of when this happened, blah, 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 or what happened years ago when this incident occurred, like, I could then put the pieces together that it's all connecting to one big, energy that I've been neglecting, but was right in my face growing up. Sometimes that's just how it works, and I feel like when you're in the healing process and you're like learning about spirituality or anything like that, they're always talking about like this energy of learn who you really are, or find the purpose of being here in this life is to rediscover who you really are. And I would always get so confused by that. Like, what are you talking about? I know who the fuck I am. And I don't think that's the same for everybody. I think everybody's got a different journey, a different path. for everyone in regards to rediscovering who you are. You guys may be a completely different person. I don't think I'm completely different. I just think there's parts of me that are different now, and it's parts of me that I feel better about, and maybe sometimes, I don't know, confused or angry about as well, just because it's change in my life in regards to the energy I choose to go towards. I think when you're also used to trauma in your life, I would assume it's kind of like detoxing. If you're like an alcoholic or a drug addict, something like that. So when you go through that phase, it's fucking overwhelming. Even though it's not a substance, it kind of feels like a substance. I just think it could be something interesting, because at the end of the day, they always come back, and when you see them come back, because like I said, we're all human, and you got to remember that we all do this, what is it, the cat and mouse game thing, where it's like you want what you can't have type of thing. So it's like the second you realize that, oh, the second I stop giving a shit, that's when you see the shit, you're going to be so fucking unattracted to them. And this is my line, what I always used to say to my friends is, remember the last ex that you thought you couldn't get over? Like, it's just as easy as that. It really is. And it doesn't feel like it in the moment, but I promise you guys, it's so worth it. It's something to try. It's just something to try. Again, when you know your exes are low-key lurking, and even if you don't think they're lurking, let me just tell you, they're fucking lurking. They're always lurking, okay? They're always lurking. Right, guys? I would say post things that you know wouldn't resonate with them, things that they're just not attracted to, because honestly, it gives you that time in between to heal as well. Because when they're playing those games with you as well, where they're like popping in and out of your life, that fucks you up too, right? And they know that shit. So when you have that time to heal, and then they eventually come back, because yeah, they do, you're not gonna want that. You're not gonna want that, because you've already had the time, and now you're putting the pieces together. Like, oh, this is what gets you. And also, what I've noticed is, I think it's, I guess we can say this is law of attraction as well. But no matter what, there are things beyond the law of attraction. There are things beyond tarot. There are things beyond astrology that we will never be able to exactly see or know about. Okay, so what I mean is by law of attraction, if you try to attract people who are not meant for you, it's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. It gets energetically shut down. You can look at it as your angels looking over you. What are those means? Like God's protecting you, God took something away because He has something better. All of that is very much true. I've seen it through channeling and reading. So I'm going to tell you right now, those things, you can't just like attract people that you want. Specific people you want that don't want you, and I know that's like, ooh, but yeah, like you can't do that. That's not how law of attraction works. And if you guys see commercials or ads on that shit, do not buy that shit. I don't know, like lessons or whatever. Do not. I don't care. Candle magic, I've seen that shit too. Like, thanks, Sarah. I got my ex back in 5 days. Like, I don't know. Even if that shit were real, I would say that those two people didn't finish out their karmic contract or their soul contract, whatever it is. Like, no doubt in my mind. And also, that's bad juju all over it. Like, you don't want to put magic or, like, try to attract people who you know are not into you, okay? However, what I have noticed what I have realized about just me personally through my experiences, and I feel like looking back at other people I've known, this has worked for them, whether they've realized it or not. And I don't know if these people have some psychic ability or some strong intuitive ability, but when you just have that knowing of like, these people want me, these people, they will, they're always gonna watch me, whatever. And I'm not saying I promote this, I'm not saying I'm for it, and I'm not saying it's healthy. However, not everything in this life is light. Not everything in this life is positive. So therefore, I'm just speaking the truth right now. Some people can feel intuitively on a deep level that there are certain people that will always be watching you, always be curious about you, and they'll be from your past. Or it's not even necessarily from your past. It's just like, I don't know, a creepy guy at work, and fucking like, he'll never leave you alone, and you can just feel on some type of like intuitive level, he's probably watching you. You know what I mean? I believe 1,010% that having that, I feel like it's a confidence. I do not think it's ego. I don't think it's being cocky when it's real. Like when there's a difference between feeling it from intuition versus being cocky about it. There just is, and I hope you guys can tell the difference between the two. One will lie to you, and one will tell you the truth. But when you feel your intuition telling you, like, yeah, they're just always going to watch you, like they're just always going to be attracted to you, and you have no control over that, I 1,000% believe that is a magnet within itself, because that's confidence. Somehow that's radiating some type of energy about you that you have it like that, and energy is something you can feel, right? So I watched this video recently, and I thought it was really interesting, where this woman talked about when you walk into a room and there's other people's eyes on you and they're jealous, right? So, but that's out of your control, right? It's all about how you feel. Well, how did you feel when you walked into that room? And I always think about shit like that. Like, but I never thought about it like that. So what I mean is, I'm always conscious about how I feel. Like, I'm very much in tune with, like, no, this is how I felt on this day. This is how I felt when, I don't know, maybe that sounds weird to some people out there, but I think other people know exactly what I'm talking about. So I don't feel like I'm cocky at all, but I do feel like I'm confident with insecure moments. And I feel overall like I'm very confident when I walk in a room. But at the same time, I don't need people to stop what they're doing. You know what I mean? Like, that makes me uncomfortable. That's a very uncomfortable thing for me. However, I feel confident when I walk in a room. Now, if there's other people who feel jealous when they see me or whatever, why is that? The way she put it is, because I feel confident, that makes other people feel insecure. So you see what I'm saying? So I'm translating this into another way of looking at law of attraction, kind of, sort of. Yes, you'll bring these people back into your life if you truly believe there is this, that on some type of intuitive level, that they're fascinated by you, they're interested in you, or it's not even like a positive thing, man. I can tell you 1,000%, it's not even always a positive thing. I definitely have some exes who definitely like snoop every now and then, and only 1,000% wishing like fucking ill will on me. And P.S. guys, you don't need to. You don't need to do that. With some of these aspects in my chart, don't worry. Fate will do that for you. Don't fucking worry about it. But I will always feel that energy, and I'm very confident about it. I could not care fucking less if these guys ever denied it. First off, I would confirm that they probably do deny it, because how egotistical they are, like, and prideful. Why would you ever admit something like that? Like, oh my God. Um, so I think because I truly believe that and feel that, it creates that energy, 1,000%. Is it, I'm not saying this is like telepathic thing. Like, when I think of them, they're saying, no, I don't think that. I don't think that's what it is at all. I think it's that confidence, that aura of how law of attraction works. When you genuinely don't give a shit how other people are doing from your past, but you're radiating, you're doing good, like good vibes, people get curious by that. They want to see what you're doing. And that's just how we operate, right? So, yeah, I think there should be fucking videos out there trending how to get your exes unattracted to you, so that way technically you guys can get what you want. But then it's like, once you get what you want, it's not what you want. It's not, and you know it. So not the healthiest way, but yet yes it is. Yes it is. I am most certainly grateful for all the shit I've done, because it definitely helped me really figure out what I'm into and what I'm not into. And that goes for not even just guys, like love interests, but like friends, family, like fucking life, 1,000%. You guys gotta take those like negative things and turn those things into a blessing. And that is how your Jupiter works, by the way. It doesn't matter how it's aspected in your chart. Like that's the point of Jupiter, besides like learning and knowledge and all that. It's about counting your fucking blessings as well. So yeah, being grateful, like on a holistic level. And I hope everyone understands what I mean by that. Like when things aren't perfect in your relationship, but you can still understand the positive things about the person you're with. Or when you're working, it's like you still do right by your boss, your coworkers, whoever, the company you work for, or your own business, because you know it would be wrong if you were to cheat the system in some type of way. So, yeah, I hope that makes sense. I hope this helps somebody out there. And, all right, that's it.